Hello? Who's this? Dr. Anthony Fauci. Well, good morning, sir. How are you? Great. It's great to hear from you. Yes, I do speak to Donald from time to time. Okay. Okay, sure. I'd be glad to help. Now, a couple of things that I've been thinking about from your perspective, and these are true in any business endeavor that you're trying to move forward, that you're trying to influence. Okay, so and these are like real basics of business. All right, the first thing is you want to essentially you have two areas that you need to sell, and essentially we're talking about selling the same thing. What we're talking about selling, and correct me if I'm wrong, doctor, you want to sell that we need to continue social distancing because keeping people away from each other is the only way we're going to slow this thing down. Am I right on that? Right. Okay. And you got two essential places that you need to sell this. Number one is to your boss on the task force, and number two is to the American people. All right? So how do you go about doing both of those things? Well, first thing is you got to realize that in any sales job, the people being sold or the customer is always asking themselves, what's in it for me? Does that make sense? So they have to see what's in it for them. Let's talk about your boss first. All right? Yeah, he's interested in saving the country and everything else, but really, and you can tell this by watching these briefings that aren't so brief, by the way, but you can tell by watching these briefings that what he's most interested in is getting reelected. And he's also interested in his legacy. Would you agree with me on that? Okay. So here's the point. One of the things that influence somebody like that, as you have been doing, is showing numbers. Well, you're showing them the numbers about, if we don't stop it here, if we don't stop it there, it can be 2.2 million, so on. I get all those numbers. All right? But here's the thing you got to keep in mind. You need to show him and say, look, you've got these governors that are not complying with what we're looking to do. You get these 8 governors. There are Republican governors too on top of it. You even got one governor in Georgia that just today is opening up the beaches again. Now, do you let a little kid cross the street without holding his hand? Sometimes you got to take charge and say, hey, no, can't do that. You cannot get up. Don't get off that sidewalk. Same thing applies here, because if you give somebody the opportunity to do something stupid, somebody's going to do something stupid. Hello, Governor of Georgia, here we go. All right, here's my point. Point out to Trump that if you effectively stop this thing in the other 40 or so states, and in these 8 states it starts to pop up again, you're at ground zero. You got to start all over again. After all, the name of the country is the United States. We all have to do this together. Does that make sense? Okay, I know it makes sense to you. Here's the way you sell it to him. Mr. President, if we have to continue to piecemeal, go after this and go after that, instead of doing it all at once and taking our medicine all at once, you know what's going to happen in November? You're not going to get elected. But if you bite the bullet now and get it done, and especially if you get it done before November, which there's a really good possibility, if you stop everything right now, people are going to remember the last thing that you did. That will work in your favor when people go to the ballot box, won't it? Okay, now the second point, the second people you need to sell it to are the people in the United States. Now, let me ask you a question. I think I can speak on behalf of the American public and say that of all the people that stand up there during those briefings, you are the one that is the most admired for a number of reasons. Number one, your demeanor is very, very good. But most importantly, you're a doctor. And people respect doctors. As a matter of fact, the #1 trusted profession in the United States is a doctor. Okay, so not only that, but you're the #1 doctor in that field. So think about that. Now, how do you reach the people in the United States? Because certainly there's a large number that are still going out there, I don't care if I get it, all right? Who are the most trusted people in the United States? Well, two of them come to mind that aren't politicians. The first one, believe it or not, the most trusted person in the United States, according to Google, and I did that this morning, is Tom Hanks. Now, Tom Hanks tested positive for this thing. How difficult would it be to get Mr. Hanks to do a public service announcement, a video saying, hey, you don't want to get this. This is what happens. I had to go through this. I had to go through that. All right, boy, if I could have go back and know that I want a social distance, all of those things. And Mr. Hanks would be an unbelievably good spokesman. That would be the first person I would get. The second person I would get is Mr. Bill Gates. He is respected. He doesn't even have to mention Microsoft. Just come on and say, hi, I'm Bill Gates. And boom, just get into it and be logical about it. And that way you'd be getting kind of two different genres of people that you could affect and influence. So the whole thing is like selling people something so that they will say to themselves, what's in it for me? And if you get them to say, both Bill Gates and Tom Hanks, like, if we don't do this, this is what's going to happen, because don't you want to see life the way it was where you are? I want to be out making movies. I want to be out making new things for the computer, but I can't do that right now because we're doing this, but we have to bite that bullet. Does that make sense, Dr. Fauci? Okay. Call me anytime you want. I'm here for you. All right. Have a great day. Bye-bye. And because we never end any of our phone calls on a philosophical note, let's all get out there and charge! I'm Eli's dad.